Cancer, it's April 2019, Dadhichi here. You know, the moon is your ruling body, so I'd like to look month by month at the what we call the lunations, in particular the new and full moon. If you look at the animation on this chart, the moon passes over Venus, Neptune, Mercury, and then makes contact with the sun on the 6th. And that's the new moon phase I'm talking about. Very, very important, especially when it takes place here in the 1st, 4th, 7th, bingo, the 10th house. And these are the angles or the foreground of the horoscope. Here we see the 10th house being the most powerful angle, related to your career, profession, self-esteem, and in some systems of Vedic astrology, this is called karma sthana, or one's karma. So we need to look at karma planet here, which is in the foreground at the moment, in your sun sign as well, by the way, and the ruler of that karmic planet now in a new moon phase in the 10th house. Big things are happening. You are trying to break through now into a whole new vision of your career and what it is that you want to do. We know that that's under some duress as a result of this square aspect from Saturn and Pluto, again in the 7th house, another foreground area of your horoscope. And you'll notice here the new moon is very tight, what we call a tight. If you join these two sets of planets and then draw a line here perpendicular, you have a T square. And this is therefore a new moon of very great tension, great opportunity, but great tension for you. So I want to talk about that a little bit. I don't want to talk too long on it, but I think it's important to look at the thematic aspects of the month so that you can get a handle on what the predominant theme is here. The ruler of your 10th house is Mars. Here, just having moved into this low-key part of the horoscope, the Mars. A bit of ambivalence here, a bit of tension, and a bit of a contradiction, actually. All of this energy, including these squares, showing this drive to achieve something in work, an opportunity for new work, a new professional direction, while at the same time, the ruler of your profession in the what we call the dual sign, the split sign, the schizophrenic sign of Gemini. So you're in two minds over this, and while this Mars is in the low-key area, it can show that you have to really sit down and think carefully about what it is that you want. Notice also that this 12th house is foreign in nature and often relates to travel or emigration. So there are, for some of you, options there to leave your work and move, if not overseas, to a distant area, interstate, to another area, to be transferred to some other aspect or department in your company as a result of that. And some of those events, especially in the first week, we see here Moon making contact with Uranus and then making contact with the ruler of your career, all within the first 10 days of the month. So I'm locking it into this quarter of the horoscope. First into the career sector, then the new moon there, showing the change or the desire for change, then the abrupt conjunction to Uranus in your 11th house of friendships, networking. This may even relate to some extent, although it's not, I'm using a little bit of astrological license here, Cancer. I'm just getting an intuitive sense it may relate to co-workers. Then the conjunction with the career planet in the 12th house, this low-key period and cycle having to do with reflection on all of these matters. We see the transit in your own sun sign around the 12th, making contact with similar point to Uranus here, North Node or the karmic point, showing some tension and again activating that T-square earlier that we discussed. Finances, communication is all good. Then there's some stuff down here which we should look at, I think. These oppositions to Mercury. That can always be confusing for thinking, especially if you've got to work on contracts. Again, the theme here seems to be your work, changes in that area. If not an actual change in work, moving into some new attitude to your work. And here are the oppositions: communication, Mercury, which makes it difficult to get your ideas across. Domestic activities around the 19th, 20th, and then back to work. I'm sticking on this work aspect here. You see how the conjunctions to different planets play out again later in the month here, with this opposition to Mars and Jupiter in the 6th house of the workplace arena, where you actually work. This is a trigger point here. You need to be very, very careful. You're likely to have disputes with those you work with. There can be misunderstandings. And for that matter, because your ruling planet, the moon, is in the 6th house of health, with Jupiter, which is also ruling the health, there may be some problems around this time of the month for your physical well-being. Some opportunities to reconnect in your relationships, but that may be difficult because we've seen this long-standing Saturn-Pluto transit in the area of the spouse. Also, we see, again, communication difficulties while it's moving through this area, through Venus and Mercury. Now, this conjunction of Mercury and Venus occurs in the upper part. These two planets, as you can see, made a move into this upper part of your horoscope, just there around the 17th, 18th, and then Venus around the 22nd, I believe. Yeah, 21st, 22nd. So that's also an extremely good aspect. Not so good for your personal relationships, but quite nice there for forging ahead in your professional activities. And that continues throughout the rest of the month. And I dare say when this conjunction of the moon makes its way back there to that 10th house, well, it doesn't actually make it. It'll be next month. So you're going to have to wait for that, aren't you? Nevertheless, a very nice end to the month, notwithstanding some of these challenging aspects to the relationship part of your horoscope. I'll hope you come back next month. In the meantime, don't forget to get a little bit more fine-tuning on what I've just said today at astrology.com.au, my website, where we have the month and, of course, the longer-term forecast for the year. Mustn't miss that. And then again, you've always got the option there to have a personal reading with myself or one of the many psychics that we have available as affiliates, because that's really the best way to tune in to what's happening on a case-by-case basis. See you next month. Take care.